Hey everyone, this is HighZealot here and welcome to E-5 of 2nd Operation SN. This is Hard Battle, Western Region Deployment Fleet, and despite being called Hard Battle, it is really one of the easiest maps, even on hard, of this event. As you can see here, for my first sortie, I'm actually bringing a Kitsushima, which gives you special route, and if you have her and a destroyer, to Node B at the start. Though really there's no real point to bringing her along, because you can get the same branch in with 2 destroyers and a aviation heavy cruiser. After I believe this sortie and another sortie, like 2 sorties in total, I pretty much just replace it with another destroyer because the destroyer is more evasive and more firepower than she could ever hope. At least at this level, or well, really, she only gains evasion with higher levels, so it's evasive. But firepower is not going to change. It's just not going to do much. So you can see here, Node E. Node B was an active branch, but you want to go to Node E because Node C contains 2 battleships, which is you know, they're a decent threat if you get lucky, especially since you're gonna have at least 1 destroyer most likely, unless you're going for the Node A, which is just any other fleet. And you can see here, Node E is super easy. I mean, you got the 2 red destroyers, but other than that, everything else is simple. I mean, the new type modern destroyers, or well, they're still tough, but they're relatively tame compared to those glowing red ones. Afterwards, from Node E, you go down to Node D, which is just pretty much a resource node. It's one of those ones that was introduced with, I believe, 1.6. Which I personally had no real reason to actually do so, but it just appears to be, you know, you just get resources with seaplanes or something like that. It doesn't really matter. Nothing really important with the resource, because it's not that much resource. I mean, let's see, you've gotten development material and bauxite and ammo. I believe bauxite, it's you shouldn't really run out, depending on, assuming you start out with a lot. Ammo, well, I guess it helps, but depends what sort of player you are. If you are anything like me, you probably stockpile and you don't need it. If you if you have less resources because you play a lot and you do like weeklies, daily, monthlies, ranked, then it's probably going to be a bit more useful for you than me. After this, we go down to Node F, which is a decent. It's the only major threat that you're forced to go to on this route, because she contains an armored carrier Hime, and other than that, though, it's just 2 heavy cruisers and destroyers from there. Not that big of a threat, though. It could theoretically, you know, you could get unlucky and, you know, destroyers are, you know, destroyers. The squishy, even the heavy cruiser, and that red destroyer does have I believe do have potential to, you know, do massive damage. But maybe not that sort of red destroyer. But either way, it's a simple map. It's they gain air superiority. You just need 71. I believe that's before accounting for there's trained pilots. And I believe she also has, yeah, she only has 90 armor, which is, I mean 90 armor for us, you know, it is technically a decent amount, but compared to the armor of like other made more bigger like Himeis or other, you know, just monsters, I guess you can call them, it's not that much. And then from here, after this node, is you have node K. Well, after you have node I first, which is more resources. And then you have node K, which is it's also another easy. It's another easy node. You got 3 transports. They're a bit tanky, but other than that, you got their 2 red destroyers, which are actually the new modern destroyers, but with a ready low, so they're a natural threat. And then from there, you got a light cruiser, and after that, it's the boss node. With the transports that you can probably do your daily and maybe even your weekly, so it's you know, a bit of a benefit for this map. Boss node is going to be coming up soon, but there's really not much to say on this map because it's just super easy. One thing to know is that it's orange tag, which is this is the only orange tag map, and you can't bring an orange tag anywhere else for this entire event, other than boss support or routing support. You can see the transports. There's 2 different possible formations for this, but it's pretty much the same thing except one the transports is I believe an elite and not a flagship, or maybe the other way around. I'm not too sure. I don't really pay attention to specific difference between enemy formations, because it's practically the same formation. It's still transport, still you can do your dailies. Doesn't really specify specify how you get sent to dead ends, but you should probably if you just follow instructions, you shouldn't get sent to a dead end in the first place, unless for some reason you're doing this blind. If you're doing this blind, I'm not sure why you're watching this video in the first place. But other than that, yeah. You can see here there's already a pretty good reason why you should not bring a Kid Tsushima. I mean, if she wasn't flagship, she probably would have been knocked to red already. So yeah, there's no real point to bringing her, because I'm already bringing, especially for me, because I'm already bringing Tona, and she's already aviation heavy cruiser, so I just have to bring a destroyer, which is better than well, they spend it, but assuming you have a spare elite super or Kai need or just powerful destroyer. Don't really need to specify any. This is, you probably couldn't have a lot, because only so many destroyers you can use. I mean, let's say you've got Yudachi, Ayanami, Yukikaze, Shimakaze, Hatsushima, Ushio, and even more. They have Chinese. You probably won't be using all of them in the first place, so you might as well bring them along here. The boss here, we have the Battleship Hime. She's tough as always, and you do need to you do have to kill her 6 times in total. You might not kill her every time, but meh. You'll probably kill her eventually. It's not gonna take too much tries. And yeah, she does change a bit for the final formation, but before the final formation, her escorts aren't that big of a threat. I mean, really the biggest threats is the glowing red destroyers, and then the heavy cruisers might get lucky. But other than that, it's no real threat. I mean, the only thing is, you might get lucky and not actually kill her, because battleships may not do that much damage during the night battle, and then you'll be relying on your heavy cruisers and destroyers to actually hit her in the night battle. But other than that, it's no real difficulty. Rewards for depending on the difficulty is but for easy you get nothing extra. Medium you get 2 combat rations and maritime resupplies. On hard you get that same thing, so you also get 7 screws and a medal. And then that you get nothing else. I mean, you can see here battleships. Nagato finally did some decent damage, but other than that, not much. Just remember to note for whether you bring it here, you can't use them anywhere else. So the only reason why you'll probably be using Nagatos here is because you have hotels with a green tag, so you can use them for E6 and E7. Other than that, your Nagatos are probably going to be used. Won't probably be used, other than maybe if you want to save resources, but which might be things. So you can see here, final kill, switch some things out. So final kill, things to notice that now instead of 2 heavy cruisers and a torpedo cruiser, she now has a light carrier, and she also has knee class light cruiser, heavy cruiser. I mean, and slightly more threatening. About boss support was pretty much just an insurance to ensure that the boss is by herself during the night, so I can just kill her off. Torpedo cruiser as well is another type of insurance for me, because I mean, if you ever saw a torpedo cruiser, you just really no reason not to bring them. You can't really bring him for E6 unless with specific routing, which is also worse routing. Not that but I haven't even tried it myself. I did actually finish E6 already, but E6, it's not as difficult as other people made it out to be, though I might just have gotten super lucky for every run. And then E7 you can't bring torpedo cruisers. No, I'm not sure, and even if you, I'm not sure about this, but maybe you'll say you can bring him for to killing the other, I guess, side bosses to lower her armor. It's you know, you still got the vehicles you used in previous maps, like you know, ideally I would have saved Kiso for this, and or for you know, if I had to use her anywhere else, but just so she wouldn't be locked out of any other maps, just in case. But you know, hindsight's 2020. So you can see the boss is practically dead. He can't even attack once, and yeah, just got fucked. And yeah, it's over. So that's pretty much it for E5. Super easy map. Super easy. Your reward is a Italian destroyer, which is, you know, a destroyer. You know, other than that, not much to say. I believe there is some decent potential drops. Yeah, you can get Taigi from node G. So that's a dead end. So I don't know how to get there. And then the boss node, you can get Roma. So you know, after E7, depend if I ever, assuming I finish E7 earlier. I say early, but you know, with days to spare, I might just try and get Roma through E5. And that's pretty much it for, you know, E5. Took 1 day. Though theoretically all maps can be done in 1 day if you rush. That deals with E5. And then from there, you do have to do a few quests to unlock E6 and E7. Well, really just E6, and you just have the E6. Let's see, to unlock E6 you gotta just sink 10 aircraft carriers, like carriers can. As always, E5 also unlock quests where you need a specific fleet. Just need to make a, and you also need to do it with a carrier task force, like a combined fleet. And you just need Shokaku, Sukaku, and Suho in your first fleet, and then you just get 4 screws and a maritime resupply. And that's E5. E6 is, you know, I'll go through that probably tomorrow. I'll see you guys then, and good night.